Over the next few years, we are bound to see some major changes coming to Destiny 2. Some of these changes I've discussed in previous videos. However, aside from a Gambit DLC, I think there are two additions to the game that the community would eat the fuck up. One of which could possibly be the largest new feature Destiny has ever seen. I'm really excited about this one.
Intruders, it's worth knowing the cataclysmic damage you will be responsible for today. Do not fool yourselves. You now face godlike judgment.
So let me just start off by of course saying this video is not based on any leaks or data mined information. I'm simply starting grounds for discussion on something that I believe would entirely alter Destiny's future for the better. Anyway, let's get started. Easily one of Destiny's greatest strengths has been player expression and creativity, within the confines of the sandbox of course. Wanna rock double shotties? Go ahead. 3 grenade launchers, a tiny sparrow, armor that lets you really make a statement, do whatever you want. Obviously there are limits here, like the amount of exotics you can have equipped and where you can take out your sparrow, but for the most part Destiny really allows its players to more or less play the way they want. You want to use Celestial Nighthawk and Crucible? Go ahead. However, the first thing we're going to discuss today is something that could ascend all of these areas of freedom to entirely new levels. I'm talking about endless unique content, ways to play, and things to do with your friends. I am of course talking about the fabled Forge mode. Now, if you have never played Halo or are unfamiliar with Forge mode, this was a mode originating in Halo 3, which of course Bungie created, where you could fly around as a monitor and create your own maps and game modes. Forge elevated Halo's multiplayer scene to some crazy heights, and I think it's no secret that the same thing could happen here in Destiny. Listen, if Destiny had Forge mode, it would allow for players to craft their own experiences within the game, which would obviously have the most impact on Crucible. In my last video, I actually made a bit of a joke about getting a new Crucible map, is I'm going to give you an idea or a theory and explain it, and then I'm going to give it a percentage chance of how likely I think it is that we will see the idea or theory happen. This is obviously a problem the PvP community has had for years. However, this would never be an issue if we had a type of Forge mode, because then players would just be constantly creating their own maps. Though that's all a bit obvious, so let's take it a step further. Let's imagine for a minute that in Destiny's Forge mode you fly around as a ghost instead of the Halo monitor. Maybe you could place down objects and structures, death barriers, teleporters, all the things you'd expect from a Bungie Forge mode. But what if you could also place down vehicles? Destiny 1 players will remember that the Crucible used to have vehicles such as tanks, pikes, and sparrows on very large maps. However, Bungie scrapped this going into Destiny 2. I think they said at one point why they scrapped it, and I don't remember what the reason was, but it goes without saying that this is something that a lot of players, myself included, would love to see return to the game, that being vehicle combat in the Crucible. Let's take a bit more inspiration from Halo for a moment and say, what if there was a sort of blank canvas map for each planet and destination? Here, creators could literally place and do whatever they want to create exactly the type of map or custom game mode they're imagining. If you want a large-scale map with vehicles and trenches, then just go build it. If you want a Juggernaut type game mode where one person spawns in a tank at a special part of the map, go ahead and build it. You want to recreate this map from Halo Combat Evolved, which would play so well in Destiny, I think? Absolutely. Want a game mode where one team must use only light subclasses while the other team uses the dark ones? The floor is yours. And look, one thing Bungie is amazing at is interacting with their community, so if someone makes something that a large portion of the community seems to love, add it into a community creation playlist under the Crucible tab. Hell, Bungie could even reintroduce a file share system so we can share maps and game modes amongst ourselves. It would also of course be dope if we could modify health and movement settings kind of like you can in Halo. Obviously, Destiny is very different from Halo just due to the nature of the game and its sandbox, and I'm in no way implying that this would be easy on Bungie's end. I'm sure there's a reason we don't have this yet. Although I can't help but imagine how insane this would be for the Destiny community as a whole. People would make some spectacular things. However, there is one other thing that I believe goes hand in hand with Forge mode. You could try and guess it, and you'd probably be right, but as long overdue as it is, I feel Destiny would benefit greatly from a goddamn theater mode. mode. A theater mode in Destiny is something that has been long requested and for obvious reasons. Maybe you want to go back and rewatch your flawless Trials of Osiris game you had. Maybe something hilarious happened in Valve the Disciple. Maybe you just want to take a dope screenshot of your badass Guardian. Look, I know a theater mode isn't as flashy as, say, a Forge mode, but seriously, don't sleep on it. A theater mode would be incredible for the player base. There have been attempts before at creating Destiny Machinima, however, that simply won't happen properly until we get an actual theater mode in game. Then again, I guess never say never. Look at the original Red vs. Blue season. But honestly, anyone out in the community, you watching this video, you could create the Red vs. Blue of the Destiny franchise if we just had a theater mode. And did I mention how perfectly this would sync up with Forge mode? The two practically go hand in hand at this point. Look, I'm not expecting this to happen, but my god, Bungie. Imagine a season of the Monitor, season of the Anvil, season of the Created, whatever you want to call it, where the main thing introduced is Forge and theater mode. I would lose my mind, and I promise that a certain subset of Guardians would also lose their collective shit. Look, I'll tell you right now, I'd be more excited over a season of the Monitor than I would be for a new Darkness subclass. Honestly, I think the only thing that could get me more hyped than this would be a new class entirely, or a complete overhaul to the game's mechanics, both of which I doubt will happen, at least not anytime soon. Damn it, man, I shouldn't have even brought this up, because now it's all I want. I am telling you, man, the things people would create. But what do you think about all these crazy ideas? Is this something you think Destiny could ever see? If so, would this really have as big of an impact on the community as I personally feel it would? And, of course, feel free to leave your game mode and map ideas down below. I'd love to hear them. Sometimes the craziest ideas are just the most fun. Anyway, if you made it to the end, I really do appreciate that, and if you liked this video, you may enjoy my predictions for Lightfall or my speculation on the third Darkness subclass. Thank you so much for hanging out, and goodbye.